Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from Royal Cast Anglers here with your Jackson Hole fly fishing forecast for the weekend of July 13th and 14th. It seems like just yesterday we were dealing with the 4th of July and barely getting up into the upper 70s, and now we're looking at this oppressive heat wave where we're seeing temperatures in the low 90s, some into the triple digits down in the upper Snake River Plain around Idaho Falls and some of the lower South Fork of the Snake areas yesterday that broke some temperature records. We've got a couple more days of this oppressive heat, and it's definitely going to alter some of our fishing conditions, and it should alter your fishing plans as well moving forward into the summer season. We've got Palisades Reservoir at 92% of capacity. Jackson Lake, 97% of capacity. Saturday, it's looking hot and dry. We've got 90 degrees as our high, probably even going to get a little bit higher. 57 for the low, and Sunday it's about identical, 90 for our high and 59 for our low. So you're even seeing some of our nighttime low temperatures not even get into that cooling off mode. That's more reminiscent of late August and early September around here. So hopefully this high pressure will break here in the next couple of weeks and give us some reprieve from the heat that we're not really used to this time of year. Our 10-day forecast, as I was saying, looks just about as similar. We're starting to see some stream closures to our friends in the north, especially in the southwestern Montana area. Starting on Monday, July 15th, we're going to see the Madison in Yellowstone National Park. We're going to see the Firehole in Yellowstone National Park and the Gibbon in Firehole National Park close until water temperatures cool. So we're starting to see some of those water temperatures creep into those lethal regions for our trout friends in some of our areas in our immediate greater Yellowstone ecosystem. The Snake behind me, 2,000 CFS coming out of Jackson Lake Dam, 4,670 CFS there on the lower river, although the gauge down in the Whitewater Canyon is definitely acting up, so we expect that to be around 1,000 or 1,500 CFS higher. The Snake is in prime summer fishing shape outside of this heat. You know, I'd start concentrating on, you know, some of the riffles, some of the seam lines, the buckets, the troughs, the banks. It's traditional summer habitat for the Snake. Stoneflies, caddis, leftover drakes here and there, PMDs, lots of yellow sallies. All of the summer bugs are out and about here on the Snake. Historically, we see the Snake start to fish better, you know, in those afternoon time periods when things start to warm up and the bug activity gets warm. But with these oppressive, you know, hot days that we're having here coming up for the next 3 to 5 days, I'd be on the water early and I would be off the water early. I would start to get my work done there, you know, before, you know, the 3-4 p.m. time frame when it just gets, it has been so stinking hot with very little breeze that our trout don't really like those conditions. The South Fork of the Snake, 13,000 CFS coming out of Palisades Dam, 13,500 CFS there on the lower river. Top to bottom, very similar to the Snake behind me. The South Fork is fishing really well. We're starting to see the salmon flies on the upper reaches of the South Fork. There's a smattering of them through the canyon, but we're starting to see our goldens, and most notably, we're seeing really good riffle fishing with PMDs, yellow sallies, and caddis that are very reminiscent of the riffle fishing and the technical small dry fly fishing that we know and love of the South Fork of the Snake. We haven't really seen much of that the past couple of years. You know, it's probably been 3 to 5 years since we've seen, you know, really good PMD activity and small dry fly fishing opportunities on those riffles, but it's here. The fish are getting educated. My tip of the week is make your first cast count, because a lot of the times that fish will eat it on your first cast and then they will get quickly educated. The Teton in Teton Valley, 548 CFS there in Driggs, 893 CFS on the lower river. We're starting to see some of those water temperatures creep into some levels that aren't really helpful to our trout in that immediate area, especially the lower river of the Teton. Early mornings are still prime time. Get on the water early during the coolest parts of the day. We're seeing leftover stoneflies. We're seeing lots of PMDs, lots of caddis, some yellow sallies, and things along those lines. But definitely start shifting your focus of areas like the Teton to those early morning periods when the dry fly fishing is going to be the best and the water temperature is going to be the coolest. The Henry's Fork, we've got 1,640 CFS coming out of the box, 2,460 CFS there on the lower river. This summer heat and oppressive heat will definitely slow things down, especially on the lower Henry's Fork. The Ora, the Vernon, the Chester, the Fun Farm. I'm not saying that it's not going to be fishing well, but I would definitely concentrate on those early morning periods with PMDs and PMD spinners in the beginning of some of the terrestrials. We're seeing a little bit of above average flows coming out of the Box Canyon, and we've had some pretty good reports there around, you know, the Warm River to Ashton stretch, you know, still in the lower Mesa, Riverside, you know, Pine Haven, you know, sort of stuff. But those temperatures up there and those sort of lakey, slower moving habitats definitely warm up quicker. You know, brown drakes are pretty much done there on the ranch. It's going to become a PMD game. It's going to become a caddis game until the terrestrials start to sort of come on strong. So remember that when you're going into this week and the consequential next weeks of fishing, we're going to start shifting our mental focus into those early morning periods when the water temperatures are the coolest. Our dry fly fishing is probably going to be some of your most productive, and it's going to be all around more comfortable for our trout friends, and it's going to be a heck of a lot more comfortable to you, especially if we keep getting these days in the 90s. That's all from me. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend and a safe weekend on the water. Hydrate, wear your sunscreen, get in the shade, hang out, do your little dawn patrol missions, and get off the water and hang out. We'll see you here next week.